The residence where my family and I dwelled for the better part of my life was a gloomy, frigid, and unsettling abode. Mostly shrouded in darkness, it turned bitterly cold during the winter, and an eerie atmosphere hung over it consistently. Occasionally, peculiar sounds emanated from the cellar, sending shivers down my spine. Although I never confessed my unease to my mother, I convinced myself that I was too mature to be frightened by mere noises. Since my father departed when I was 7, I have assumed the role of the household's de facto patriarch, striving to emulate a sense of maturity beyond my years. I harbored a deep-seated hatred towards him, and fervently hoped I wouldn't mirror his actions. As for him, I reckon it's best to leave it at that. In our Steinen, Indiana abode, nestled on a sprawling expanse of land, resided my mother, Linda, and my uncle Kevin. Steinen, a desolate speck in the middle of nowhere, garnered little favour among its inhabitants. I lacked companionship as I was homeschooled, and encounters with peers were rare, if not non-existent. Our ventures outside were infrequent, usually limited to my mother's grocery runs into town. Yet Uncle Kevin was always a steadfast presence in my life. In my younger years he regaled me with ghostly tales before bedtime, much to my mother's chagrin. "Stop it, Kev. You'll frighten him," she'd scold. Indeed, his stories often seeped into my dreams, lingering like a persistent spider spinning its web in the recesses of my mind. One particular tale he favoured involved a monstrous entity with a twisted form and ebony eyes. According to his legend of fabrication, I'm certain this creature lurked in closets, observing those who dared to stay awake past their bedtime. Though it was merely a ploy to enforce my bedtime, the image of that ghastly being haunted me relentlessly over the years. On that particular night, plagued by a throbbing headache, I opted for an early bedtime in hopes of easing the pain. Nestled beneath the icy sheets, I buried my face, seeking refuge from the turmoil within my mind. After placing my glasses on the nightstand, I extinguished the light, enveloping myself in the comforting embrace of darkness. Strangely, the void seemed to pulse with life, captivating me in its emptiness. Surveying the room shrouded in darkness, I felt spellbound, as if compelled by an unseen force. Yet there was nothing tangible to behold, only the obscure depths of my own psyche. Suddenly, a faint scratching sound echoed from the window above my bed, jolting me awake. My eyes snapped open, refusing to shut again. What was that? I pondered, dismissing it as mere imagination. Surely it was nothing. Just my mind playing tricks in the dark. Nonetheless, driven by childish curiosity, I approached the window to investigate, expecting to find a tree branch brushing against the glass. However, to my astonishment, there was no tree in sight. Shrugging off the oddity, I resolved to ponder it further in the morning, attributing it to fatigue-induced hallucinations. It had to be a figment of my imagination, struggling to drift into slumber. I couldn't shake the sensation of being watched, as if an unseen presence lingered, intent on keeping me awake. The next morning dawned with the lingering echo of the mysterious sound still reverberating in my mind. It had to have originated somewhere, but where? I racked my brain, but came up empty-handed. Then it hit me. Summoning every ounce of courage, I descended into the depths of the abyss. It had been ages since I last ventured down there, perhaps a year or more. The sight that greeted me was one of neglect. Cobwebs draped like veils over forgotten treasures, cardboard boxes strewn haphazardly against the walls. Amidst the clutter, I stumbled upon a childhood drawing, a depiction of a monstrous entity that defied all human comprehension. Its form was grotesque, with hollow black eyes and a face devoid of features. Its elongated, contorted body seemed to twist and coil in unnatural ways. As I studied the sketch, memories of Uncle Kevin's tales flooded my mind. Rain fell from the sky above the creature, and at the bottom of the page, in bold letters, were the words, "Please stay away." Perplexed by the meaning behind my own creation, I tucked the drawing into my pocket and ascended the stairs to the kitchen, attempting to push aside the unsettling thoughts that plagued me. Throughout the day, the image of the creature lingered in my thought, its significance eluding me. I glanced outside to see the rain pouring down, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Desiring to escape the unsettling thoughts, I retreated to my dimly lit room and collapsed onto my bed, succumbing to sleep before I could even comprehend it. As I stirred from slumber, the digital clock displayed a stark 30 am. The night seemed unusually frigid and bleak, with remnants of earlier rainfall saturating the farm. A luminous full moon cast an ethereal glow, almost surreal in its brilliance. An urge to glance out the window seized me, and for a fleeting moment I caught sight of a figure darting across the yard. As our eyes met, it retreated behind a tree, as if attempting to evade my gaze. My heart pounded in my chest as I bolted into Uncle Kevin's room, shaking him awake urgently. Kevin, what's wrong, buddy? Why are you waking me at this hour?" he inquired, clearly taken aback by my agitation. Meeting his gaze, I whispered, "I saw someone outside." Kevin's expression wavered with uncertainty. "It's probably just an animal. Go back to bed," he suggested dismissively. But I knew better. This was no ordinary creature, not even one from my darkest nightmares. I hesitated to divulge the truth to Kevin, fearing he would never believe me. "No, Kevin, it wasn't an animal. Please just go and check," I pleaded, my voice trembling with apprehension. Uncle Kevin sprang into action, retrieving his shotgun from beneath the bed. "All right, let's go check it out. Show me where you saw him, and let's try to keep this quiet so we don't wake your mom." "I'll scare the intruder off," he declared, determination etched on his face. "Didn't you outside?" I guided Kevin to the tree where I had spotted the mysterious figure. "He went behind that tree," I whispered anxiously. With measured steps, my uncle approached the tree, peering around it, cautious, but to our dismay, there was nothing there. Despite scouring the entire farm for over half an hour, no trace of the intruder was found. "Let's head back inside, buddy. There's nobody out here. Just make sure to keep the doors locked tonight," Kevin instructed, his tone tinged with unease. He was mistaken. I was certain there was something lurking outside. Slipping into bed, I pulled the covers over my head, attempting to shut out the world beyond. The howling wind outside pierced my ears with a haunting whistle reminiscent of a canine's keen senses. Suddenly, a tapping sound echoed against my window, growing louder with each repetition. I clutched the blankets tightly around me as the taps escalated into knocks, then thunderous bangs. I feared the glass would shatter under the relentless assault. Then, as abruptly as it had begun, the cacophony ceased. Silence enveloped the room, a welcome respite from the chaos. Just as I began to relax, a chilling voice whispered in my ear, "It couldn't be real. It just couldn't." Racing into the hallway, my intention to reach my mother's room was halted by a ghastly sight. I beheld a monstrous figure, its identity shrouded in mystery, cradling Uncle Kevin's lifeless, mutilated form, carved into his chest with the chilling words, "Please stay awake." The scream clawed at my throat, but only silence greeted the air. With a heart pounding in terror, I dashed to my mother's bedroom, only to find her lying motionless in a pool of blood, her arm torn from its socket. The same ominous message was scrawled beside her, written in her own blood. Tears streamed down my face as I turned, only to find the creature vanished without a trace. I squeezed my eyes shut and unleashed a gut-wrenching scream, the horror of the scene engulfing me, summoning every ounce of courage. I contacted the authorities and collapsed onto the cold, blood-soaked floor, awaiting their arrival in what felt like an eternity. At long last, the police arrived to find me curled up beside my mother's lifeless body. I recounted every terrifying detail, showing them the drawing and describing the eerie occurrences, the taps, the knocks, the bangs, and the chilling figure outside, but to no avail. They dismissed my account as the ramblings of a distraught child, unable to comprehend the horrors that had unfolded before me. All they saw was a grieving youngster, stained with his mother's blood, hovering over her lifeless form. The cell feels frigid, enveloped in darkness and solitude. Yet, amidst the bleakness, the solace of silence reigns supreme. Tonight, the rain beats relentlessly against the window, intensifying the chill and dark. Regrettably, I must cease writing. A solitary tap echoes through the silence.